dictate what they think they should or shouldn't do, even against your better judgment, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, buddy.
This is awesome. This is thanks, Gabs. Talk to you later.
Brother. See you, buddy.
Peace. What you were sharing at the beginning about owning just like owning how badass we are is something I kind of have been like, it's been like this start stop thing. Like perfect example the other day when I was on the call, which kind of like singing my woes of, hey, I'm in these conversations with people who are wincing at like $500 a month. And it's funny because I came in the conversation, I was like, you know, how do I move these forward? And he's like, Christian, like, hang on, let's stop for a second. Like, where's the money in it for you? Like, what's in it for you? And I'm like, wow, you're right. Like, I am just like,
because energetically, you actually don't want to move them forward.
Correct.
Like they're there in front of you, but you really don't want them. And so you want them, like, how do I get them? But then really, and I think that's what I got out of him as well. You don't really want them. And that's what 100%. A lot of people are doing. That's why their business isn't going, because what they're attracting isn't what they want, but they can't figure that part out. And so anyways, go ahead, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the struggle. And now I'm like, you know, where I'm in these conversations, like it feels good getting a conversation for practice, but then it's like, these are people who don't have the resources or the level of commitment to like go big with me. And like, just a small example of, this one guy was like, oh, I thought it was going to be more than $500 a month. And it's like, and then here I am, make myself small. I'm like, oh, I'll waive my management fee the first month or whatever. And like, I'm just then shrinking. And then I'm like less excited to even like work with them.
And I think so there's two things I want to say. I said this thing about life is not, you know, about waiting for the storms to pass, learning how to dance in the rain. I also like this idea that life will always be a roller coaster, but some people love the roller coaster, like literally. And some people don't. Mm-hmm. So rather than thinking life's going to end up being this flatline thing that, you know, we won't have problems, we won't have challenges, we won't have difficulties, we won't have heartache, we won't have these things, that they'll be there, but how do we deal with them? How do we learn to dance with them and be able to have them not devastate us? For life, for a long time, I was trying to eliminate problems, right? I was trying to eliminate the bad. But in fact, it's how we give it meaning, you know, because somebody can say something to both of us right now, or let's say, right? Somebody can say that he happened to get on a call, and conviction and certainty behind the product that he's selling will be far different than yours. So it's not what the person said or the client themselves that's the problem. I mean, I've seen people who, let's say, talk to you and said, wow, $500 a month, man, that's super expensive. And then they're draining their bank account and spending $10,000. So it wasn't the client and what they said that was the problem. It's Christian, me, whoever's on this right now listening. We're the problem. Because we don't have that conviction, or as I was saying in the beginning, that embodiment and certainty around what it is that we do, because more than likely, we just haven't done enough of it. If I gave you the ability to go, Christian, I've got this really cool project for you. It's going to be this documentary, and you're going to come in, you're going to do these interviews and get B-roll, and you're going to tell this really incredible story. Christian be lit up like a Christmas tree, because Christian knows how to do that well. Yeah, that's like
in my zone. Yeah.
Right, in your zone. But simultaneously, because it's so in your zone, I don't know where you're at with this financially for that, but at times that thing that's like, oh yeah, I'm excited about that, is also the same thing happens, but in a different way. So we're convinced that we can do it, but because it's so fun and easy, we still retract. Like, oh my God, I can't charge for this thing that's like, charge a lot for something that I can go do this for free. You know, and so we have another issue there versus the other one is like, I'm not good at this thing. I don't really know if I could do this. So there's a lack of conviction, because it's like, can I really boldly say that this will do X, Y, and Z? Because I don't know. So if I tell this guy, no, it's freaking worth $5,000 a month and X, Y, Z is going to happen. And that kind of commitment to things we can bring, but it's hard to bring to things that we're not yet really excellent at, or you're just trying to channel other people's success within, because knowing you and how spiritual you are, sensitive you are, in tune you are, all these things that you have, at the same time, you're still experiential. And you're a lot like me. And I think we talked about that on one call. So it's hard for you to just channel somebody else's results, and results haven't happened in your world yet. So you can be like, works, because that's what does. Just never run actual video campaigns, commercial campaigns himself, where he is like, yes, I have sold a client, run the ads, done the whole process myself. He just has conviction through the ability of the results that he's seen happen.
Yeah.
Some can possess that. Some have a harder time doing. I have a harder time doing that until I've just done it. So
it's like what you mentioned earlier about I intellectually know it works, but I don't embody it. And I guess I'm looking at how can I embody it and bring that into these conversations and actually show people that there's way more possible for them, right? It's like I have to overcome this myself to know there's more possible.
So Christian, and everybody looks at this different. I have done this a lot in my life. It doesn't resonate with everybody, but my belief is to do it for, like, if you have a client. So I want to tell you, everybody here, my biggest people, the Tim Ferrisses, all that, I reached out to. They did not reach out to me. And I was not looking to get anything out of them. I was looking to give back to them. But are there people that you would just love to work with? Not are they going to blow up your business per se or whatever, but are they somebody you'd love to execute your process on, that you could just do it? Because here's the thing that I think is the screwed up thing in my mind, and it depends, but when we really don't fundamentally know, if you intellectually know it, but you really don't feel it through every cell in your body that you, Christian, maybe if Campaign, you know that he could get it, but you're not sure if you can. You don't know if the ads are not going to work right. Like all the things that are in your way from making it actually succeed are things also in your way from selling it. So the thing is, you're trying to psych yourself up to channel some inner energy to sell somebody something and have them take on all the risk. And if it doesn't work out, well, you don't lose because at least you channeled some inner psyche to charge a lot for it.
Yeah.
Rather than doing a few. You don't need to do them forever, but get a few more under your belt. That was been my thing, whether it's been coaching or video production or whatever. It's been doing the work that I want to do. So if I have somebody I'd love to do it for, then I'd rather just get it and do it, even if I don't get paid, than I would to be like trying to channel some inner confidence so that I get paid a premium for it. I mean, even our first Tony Robbins, I spent almost $8,000 to do that for free. I flew people out to New York, like all this stuff. And we had no clue. We had no clue whether anything would happen. And even after that, we had calls. They said, you're too expensive. This isn't going to work. And we were like, okay. And then we ended up getting a 6-figure deal out of it. That didn't happen with all these people I worked with. So when I did the free video for Tony and Tim, I only did what I wanted to do. So when people saw that, I do the same thing for them. And I stopped that like, hey, we got an idea here and a script and a concept, and we need actors and makeup and all that. Is that something you can do? And I was like, in the early part of my career, I'd be like, yes, sure, I'll do that for you. Didn't get paid a lot because my certainty wasn't there, because I'm like, well, I mean, I got the cameras, I could probably figure it out. And then I would procrastinate. I do a shitty job. I, mismanage expectations. I didn't enjoy it. And I had a lot of that. And that was where the 2010, 2011, the shift was of like, I love doing this specific type of video. People seem to love it. That's all I'm going to do. If you come to me, you want anything else, I'm going to explain why my way is the way I do it and why I might think it might be a great way for you. And if you really don't agree with that, then I'm not your guy. But that conviction also simultaneously blew my business up. That's why I'm so passionate about getting to the bottom of, because whether it's ads, whatever you want to do, Christian, you'll succeed in. But if you're also misaligned with what your soul is having you want to really do, you can be like Timo. That's a lot of people's future. I'm doing commercial campaigns. I'm doing ads. I'm running all these ads. I'm doing all these things because I think it's going to bring me freedom, or I'll have 5 people and and then I'll have the time to do X. But my thing is X is what you really want. How do we make X now? Not after you do a bunch of shit you don't want, so that you can get to X, because more than likely one of two things happen. You either never get to X because you never really think about it. I had a guy a few weeks ago, probably a month or two ago now, who I asked, if I gave you 2 more clients, just like the 2 clients you have, would you be excited? And he said, no, I wouldn't. And he was upset about getting more clients, just like how do I get the $500? And there's kind of this level of like, well, you're better than that, quote unquote, right? And we're getting more. It's like energetically, you know that, so you don't really want that. But like that guy, if you have 2 clients that don't bring you joy and you're upset about getting more clients, but simultaneously, why would you take a lot of action? Because a lot of action means what if you get more clients? If you're getting more of the same, it means more pain. So we don't take action to get more pain, and then we complain because we don't have more clients. So if I get myself, my past that I'm still fixing up a little bit, and I'm almost through it, is my past says success comes with lots of effort, burning relationships, working 18 hours a day. There's a lot of things that I have that I take with me. So I'm fearing a lot of action because I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruin my relationship with my wife. So I've had to work through that so that I can know I can take the right actions, specific actions for me. I don't have to work 18 hours a day. I can still be happy. I can earn a lot. I can create the life I want. I have to own that, even though my current reality says that's not really possible. Or how are you going to do that? What are the details? But the more I own that's what I want, the more the people and the things and everything fall in place. I mean, in the last 3 weeks, I've seen people who have made these shifts where for 3 months they weren't getting any work. And then they're like, boom, I just booked $5,000 in weddings because they made this internal shift. Like, yes, I want weddings. Yes, I'm good at it. Like these things that internal shift happened. The work didn't get any better. The lead flow didn't even change. It was just the leads or whatever was coming in was coming from a energetic level that was so what you're having happen. It's intellectual, but it's not an embodiment. So where do you sit with that in regards to what you'd really like to do? What would really light you up?
I don't know. I think that's the big question is what excites me, because there's like so many elements. But like the thing that my clarity that came earlier this week was I would love to be like the acting CMO of 5 brands that I really care about. And I think I have one of them today, which is an awesome client that I'm having a lot of fun working with. Right. And I feel like I'm in that role. Actually 2. And now kind of like defaulting back to, okay, I'm building up that title, I guess, like you were mentioning earlier. Yeah. While now also confronted with that scenario that you shared is piling debt and a dwindling cash on hand. And so like couple months of runway maybe. And so now I'm like, okay, I know I get excited about video production. I know I get excited about like the process of creating and video. How can I just default back to the thing that excites me and not even sell commercial campaigns, but just sell one-off productions or just like enter the conversation in that manner, because I know that well. And then once I get my foot in the door that way, then I can, add that other layer of like, hey,
it's not a bad approach. I mean, it's the thing I said in 2017 and 2018. I went back to my absolute certainty within video production and I sold like gangbusters. Now I wasn't into or knew anything or trying to do anything with the commercial campaigns, but that's what I like people to get wins. The problem is feel like we're losing every day and all the time. Right. It's really, bring up Timo again. It's like, it's hard to find motivation when you feel like you're getting punched in the face every day. Versus getting some momentum or getting some cash going is a really powerful thing. And so it's not about eliminating, but at the same time, you have your sweet spot, you have new skill sets, you have some new offers, right, that you can use. But then again, how do you stay in the role? So it's that CMO, this chief marketing officer, how do you stay in this role where you're more the visionary, the idea man, because I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not one to speak for you, but I have to guess that you digging into the ads isn't your most exciting parts of your day.
No.
You don't need to make it up. You don't need it's an honest answer. Yeah. There's not a wrong answer. There's only a right and wrong for you. And so like, if I gave you all the money you would need, would you be like, I'd still want to play with ads and learn how to do ads and sit behind and do the analytics and data? Or would you go spend your time directing and visioning and having ideas and collaborating with a team and having each person be in their zone of genius, and somebody else might run ads, but you're part of the more vision of how you're going to bring this vision to the world with this video project or this documentary, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's like what I wrote in my creator's journal. That's the story where I'm kind of like, I'm leading this awesome team of people who do what they love and what they're good at. And I know one of those people is going to be that analytical person who loves tinkering with the ad performance. And like the part I love is like, hey, how do we create an awesome message that looks, that's on brand and resonates with people, but then handing it off to someone who can then deliver it to the right person.
Yeah, so
like,
own that. Like, you don't need to, for the next 6 months, continuing getting in depth, attempting to learn and execute and feel a need that you need to embody being the pro expert at ads before you delegate it. My buddy Ryan, like during COVID here, he doesn't know how to use Premiere or any of that. And he's like, oh God, he's not sitting here going, well, maybe it's the right time for me to start to learn how to do Premiere. I'll never learn that program. I will never learn I know fundamentally, intellectually, right? Like how to edit, but he knows with absolute conviction that that's not where his time is best spent. His time's best spent in relationships, connections, directing, vision, ideas, putting the team together. And so he owns that. And so he brings in, which is where he wants to be right now, but $350,000 to $400,000, a year, shooting for schools and nonprofits. And ironically enough, with no commercial campaigns, no recurring revenue, one-off projects between $20,000 to $40,000. There's no right or wrong. What I've been saying lately to people is there's a way, not the way. So all of you are presented with ways, but they're not the way. They're not the only way. And so my thing is for you and anyone else to own into that role that you just said and not continue to spin your wheels, because I guarantee that's where it drains you. It slows you down. You start the day off riding your bike, doing the things I love to do, being juiced up. It's like, got to go sit in front of the computer for the next 3 hours. And
that's a really good point, because what I'm becoming more aware of now, and what kind of starts to drain me in these conversations, which I think I need to do a better job analyzing this, is I get into this teaching, like they would start asking like, how I start thinking too much about how is this technically going to work for them rather than staying at that vision. And so when I start, like my mind starts going into this spiral, it's like, oh, I start losing my confidence. But that's no
different than a creative who's not selling ads or commercial campaigns or any of that, but rather is like, well, I've got a menu with 3 options. I got 3 people, 8 hours, 2 cameras, a glide cam, a gimbal, a drone. Like, what do you want off this? You just pick. Right. And they're like, I don't know what to pick. Like, aren't you like, they never say that typically, but those people get hired the least and for the least. And they're the ones struggling the most. But because you're talking in a foreign language, you get it, but they're confused. Right. And so well, whatever you sell, that's definitely a nugget to keep in mind regardless, is to not get technical with non-technical people.
Right. Because it's almost like I feel obligated to teach them how we're going to do it before I get into this agreement where it's like, hey, yes, like I'm just thinking out loud is
you're fine.
In the first month, it's all high level conceptual, like phase 1 of this project. We aren't even touching any ads. It's just all conceptual. And that part I feel confident. So like, I feel like for some reason I'm like obligated to explain the technicalities of how we're going to set this up and connect the wires, rather than just being like, this is the result I can deliver. This is like high level how we're going to achieve it and the process. Do you want to work with me and start tomorrow? Yes. Like, rather than
so
like
that's majority of like my wedding or event career, it was, if I had an hour-long conversation, 50 minutes of it was spent that had nothing to do with what my actual like specific details of my offer were going to be, but rather just having a conversation with somebody, human to human. What's going on? What are you trying to accomplish? But then it's like, I would have couples who would get to the end of an hour and a half and they'd be like, you're freaking awesome. This is great. So what does it actually look like? Like, it would be like, what do you actually, and then for me, it's like, well, that in my prime of my career, it would be like, well, it's pretty simple. The videos you saw, it's how much it costs for me to do it, and on a certain level, I could go a little bit more into detail of how I would do it. But overall, that was the high levelness of what I would say. It's just like, you like what you see? I do that. Like I never, it wasn't about packages and hours. Cause basically I got down to, well, when you hire me, this is what I said, like, well, when I used to have all these packages, what I found is some people would get lucky because they'd book my $1,000 package and I was technically supposed to do less. But because of how I'm wired, I would still do the same as a $3,000 package because I always wanted to do excellence. And it was hard for me to like ratchet down and be like, well, this package is only supposed to have 1 camera. It's like, so what I would tell people is you either hire me or you don't. When I come, if I need to get there between, like usually I'll start between 8 and 10. And I usually leave between 9 and midnight. And I say, I'm there to make the best dang video that I can. And whatever amount of people I need to bring, cameras, that's encompassed in here. But that part doesn't matter. All that you're going to know that you're going to get is this awesome video. But that was like the peak of my career, was that kind of conviction, not this like giving them all these options. But again, Christian, it was embodiment, because I had done, by that time, I'd probably done at least north of 100 to 150 plus weddings at least.
Yeah.
And I had done a ton of free same-day edits. I was tired of people picking out songs I thought were cheesy and didn't work, that didn't motivate me. I was tired of all these things. And I finally am like, when I come, I make you the best video I can, and this is how I do it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's what I'm going to walk away with, is just that conviction, keeping it at a high level. Because like, you know, when clients try to pick it apart of like, well, do I get a landing video for this and a video for social media? It's like, hey, we're going to get all the creative assets that are necessary for this campaign to be successful.
Yep.
And end it at that, rather than trying to like give them
and you're
each
not
line
allowing
item.
like the problem that people do sometimes. Let's say you needed 5 videos. I'm just throwing 5 videos randomly out there. Like, you know that to have it succeed and make the money or the ROI or whatever, you need 5 videos. Let's just say that's what it is. But if you present it as though 5 videos are optional, and you're going to allow them to cherry pick that they actually only want 2 because that's all they're willing to pay for. Now you might go, well, Shane, I know they need 5 videos. It won't work without 5 videos. But you're like, well, they're only willing to pay for 1. So I guess that's all I'll do. And then it fails. And I inherently, I don't know who taught it. Probably got it from my dad. My dad's always, he's worked at a cemetery, but he's always done excellence regardless of never making more money in 30 years and all these other elements I could get into. But he's always, he is committed to having that be, I don't get emotional right now but it's like the best in cemetery that he can, regardless of anything else. Like, he shows up every week to mow that thing, trim that thing, and make it look amazing, because he wants the people who have their loved ones there to have that, you know, look beautiful. And so I feel like inherently, when I had my paper out, you know, all we had to do was chuck it out the window. Right? We could have just drove. I could have been done in 5 minutes. Instead, my dad was really the one who, I guess I saw by example, us take it up to every single door, open the door and put that paper in the door. I got incredible tips. 20 years later, people would tell me, you were the best paper boy we ever had, because most didn't care, just chucked it out the window. Rain, snow, or shine, we would put it in that door. We would take that extra time and do that. So I think I embodied excellence from a young age. I had that paper out when I was 10. So when I went to these weddings, something always, I didn't know what was going on till now, but something was wrong when peers were telling me, Michael, you need different packages. You need the bronze, silver, gold, 1 camera, 2, 3 people, 2 people. And I did that. I went through the motions intellectually and in reality, but it always felt wrong to be like, well, I can't make a great video if I show up 30 minutes before their ceremony. Like, I want to make the video that I saw Jason Magbanoa make, and he seemed to be there when the girls are getting ready and all that. So even when I only got paid $1,000 and was supposed to show up a half hour before their wedding, I was there at 9 o'clock in the morning to make the video that I got excited about, then I ended up getting paid because I ended up having the conviction. I'm a little dense, like I said. It took me a number of years. I did probably 2/3 of my same-day edits for free for about 4 years before I finally only charged and got paid for just the same-day edit. But I didn't have anybody like me egging me on to shift my perspective.
Yeah.
But the reality is I always showed up and did excellence regardless of what I was getting paid. And too many people let the client dictate what they think they should or shouldn't do, even against your better judgment, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, buddy.
This is awesome. This is thanks, Gabs. Talk to you later.
See you, buddy.
Peace.